COVID-19 virus and has recovered still has the possibility of being infected by the virus again. So my question is that why is it that the immunity or the antibodies formed from the first infection is not sufficient to prevent the second infection? Or is it just sufficient to reduce the severity of the second infection?
Recently, Malaysia already start to receive the vaccine and they start to promote the vaccinations. As we know, the vaccine used the newest technology to develop and the side effect is unknown. So my question is the vaccine really safe to the people and effective?
SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 virus is a member of coronavirus family, right? So my question is, how this novel COVID-19 virus being different from the other coronaviruses based on their morphology, clinical manifestation and so on?
So for the COVID-19 vaccine, it has been developed last year, which took almost 2 years, like Moderna and Pfizer vaccine. My question is that, does it have any adverse effect? How much is the toxicity? And is it applicable for everyone? How long is the protection? And does it provide a long-term protection?
Is the vaccine safe for the elderly? Is the adverse effect or the side effects normal?
Hello and greetings from AIMS University. I'm Dr. Lee Su-Yin, Associate Professor of Biotechnology at the Faculty of Applied Sciences, and today we shall be talking about the COVID-19 vaccines. So since Malaysia started its national COVID-19 immunization program in February 2021, there have been many issues and concerns regarding the vaccines that will be in use and also the vaccination program. So we have here today 3 experts from AIMS University who will be talking to us a bit about the COVID-19 vaccines. We have here with us Professor Mrna Vaccine, Head of the COVID-19 Task Force of AIMS University and Dean of the Faculty of Applied Sciences, Professor P.K. Rajesh, Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Academics and a medical microbiologist by training. Prof. Rajesh had participated in the Global Vaccine Safety Summit, the World Health Organization headquarters in Geneva in December 2019, just before the outbreak started. And we also have with us Associate Professor Dr. Saraswati Bina Rai, a consultant public health medicine specialist from Faculty of Medicine. Welcome and thank you all for being here. First, let us start with the basics. Prof. Rajesh, can you tell us a bit about vaccines?
Sure. Vaccines actually is a biological preparation which mimics the disease-causing organism. So it could be the weakened form or it could be a part of the virus. And this, when injected, produces immunity, enhances immunity, produces antibody, and that's how it works. It's safe and it's protective.
And what are the different types of COVID-19 vaccines available?
Well, we have a few types available. For one, we have the inactivated virus, the whole virus, and we have protein subunits, some subunits of the COVID-19, the virus inside. We also have the mRNA and the DNA vaccines. Basically, these are parts of the virus which can, when injected, antibodies are produced and they do not cause the disease.
I understand that Malaysia is not using one type of vaccine but several different types of vaccine. Dr. Bina, could you maybe tell us what are the differences between these vaccines?
Thank you. Malaysia has ordered about 66.7 million doses of vaccine, which should cover the majority of the population. So the vaccine that is currently in use right now is the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, which is a mRNA-based vaccine. But on top of that, we are also getting some other types of vaccine, which will be the Sinovac, the Oxford-based AstraZeneca, as well as the Sputnik 5. So these are different. Some of them are viral vector-based and some are inactivated vaccines. But at the present, Pfizer, like I mentioned, is being given. And the next one to be given will be the Sinovac. They're going to start vaccinating on Thursday with the Sinovac.
And what about the effectiveness of the vaccine? Prof. Ravi, maybe you can take this.
Yeah, as Dr. Bina said, there are 5 different types of vaccines that Malaysia has procured it. And the beauty of this vaccine is that all the vaccines gives protection range between 50 to 95%, which is the scale that has been determined by the US Food and Drug Administration. The cutoff is 50%, so all the vaccines are protective. But the mechanism is different, as Prof. Rajesh mentioned, it gives immunity.
Malaysia is currently in the phase 1 of the National Immunization Program, and currently the vaccine that is in use is an mRNA vaccine from Pfizer BioNTech. Maybe Prof. Ravi, can you tell us a bit, what is this mRNA vaccine?
Yeah, the word mRNA means M is messenger. Actually, this is the molecule that brings the message from the DNA, the nucleus of the cell. So this messenger RNA are new, but it has been tried out 20 years ago in cancer and other diseases in clinical trials, and it has been shown to be safe. So far, there is no major side effects. So the difference is the mRNA. In the normal vaccines, the protein or the viral particles are injected into the cell, but in this case, the message is delivered into the cell. Then the cells makes that protein, and it's presented to the antigen-presenting cells, the immunity is developed. The mechanism is slightly different, but at the end of the day, it triggers an immune response in our body, and we give a very good immune response. So most of the mRNA vaccines currently in the market gives a good protection up to 95%.
And does the mRNA integrate into our genetic material?
Okay, when we have to look at the central dogma of molecular biology, where the message, the nucleus gives the message as the mRNA that actually comes to the cytoplasm of the cell. Okay, so this mRNA molecule never enters the nucleus, so it has no chance to get integrated into the DNA. So it just gets transcribed and then produce the protein. So there is no worry about getting integrated into the DNA. On top of it, these RNA molecules are very labile, means very fragile. It can degrade very fast. Once it goes to the cytoplasm, it degrades very fast. And that's why you can see that this RNA vaccines has to be transported at -70 or a very low temperature. They have, so it is absolutely safe. No need to worry about it will integrate into the genome.
Now, I'm sure the thing on everyone's mind is regarding the safety of the vaccines. The COVID-19 vaccine broke records for being the fastest vaccine ever to be developed. The previous record was for the mumps vaccine that took almost 4 years to be developed. So, Prof. Ravi, can you please comment on this?
There were no cutting corners. Okay, in US there's something called Operation Warp Speed, and they developed the vaccine. And actually, we are in an unprecedented scenario where we want to develop the vaccine very fast. So all these preclinical phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 clinicals were conducted parallelly, not sequentially. Normally they will do it sequentially. That takes long time to complete. So in this case, they have done these trials parallelly. So they save some time. Some of the experience which was developed using Ebola and other diseases, they developed it, and so the vaccine was developed in a very rapidly, and the safety was not compromised. And in Malaysia, there is there's something called AEFI, Adverse Event Following Immunization. Our drug control authority is strictly monitoring through our apps, My Sejahtera app, and the adverse effects are being monitored. So these vaccines are absolutely safe, and they did not cut corners. Safety procedure, SOPs has been followed.
Dr. Bina, I heard you just had your first dose of the COVID-19 vaccination just 4 days ago. Congratulations. Can you just tell us how it was administered?
Okay, I received the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. So this is given in a dose of 30 micrograms, and it needs to be given in 2 doses 3 weeks apart. So I received my first dose, and I had absolutely no side effects to it. There was just a little bit of pain at the site, but that hardly stayed for a day. The little bit of logistics about this vaccine is that it needs to be stored at -70 degrees centigrade. So that poses a little bit of a challenge. And also, once this vaccine is stored, it needs to be used within 5 hours. So for that, when they vaccinated us, there's always a small group that they collect together. So other than that, everything is good with the vaccine.
Can you tell us how safe are the vaccines? Did you personally experience any side effects?
Like I mentioned, the common side effects that you will get it with any of the vaccines that you take. So the most common is always pain at the site. a little bit of redness maybe, a little bit of muscle pain. Those would be the most common effects. The most severe ones would be fatigue, tiredness, muscle aches, and maybe some allergic reactions. But I'm happy to say that I did not suffer any of those reactions.
Do you have any tips for those who are going for the vaccination?
I think if you're going for the vaccination, there's one thing that they need to take care of. That is to make sure that there's absolutely you don't have any severe reactions to that. So to do that, they will make sure that you stay on for 30 minutes to watch out for anything that may occur during that period. So other than that, if you're fine, you're allowed to go back. And just to add, a doctor is always waiting there. So you're in good hands. For the other effects that you may get later, the most that you need to do is to put a cold compress on your arm and use your arm and maybe take a little bit of rest.
And do we get to choose which vaccine that we take?
Unfortunately, that choice is not for you to make because the vaccines are coming in. The vaccines are coming in as they are being ordered. So at the moment, the Pfizer-BioNTech is here and the Sinovac is already here. But again, the government has already mapped out how the vaccine is going to be utilized throughout the country. Because if they change that, it will be another logistical nightmare. So as and when it comes, as and when you are eligible, you get the vaccine that is offered to you. But they are all perfectly good to be used in this country. They have all been approved.
If offered a choice of vaccines, which one will you take, Prof. Ravi?
I think, as I mentioned before, all the vaccines give the immunity. We should not be choosy in this regard. Our ultimate goal is to get the immunity against the virus. So as I mentioned before, all the vaccines give 50 to 95% protection, which is the cutoff mark approved by FDA and WHO. I think the goal is to gain the immunity. The most important is don't forget to get the second dose.
If a person has an underlying condition such as diabetes or high blood pressure, are they still eligible to get the COVID-19 vaccine? Maybe Prof. Rajesh, you can answer this.
I think they should because having an underlying condition makes you more susceptible to get the virus. So they should go in for the vaccine. Of course, they can go in for the advice of their doctor about their current situation, but I think they should. With the underlying medical condition, they should go in for the vaccine. Yes.
And what about pregnant women? Are they still eligible for the vaccine?
Although there is no evidence that the antibodies formed from the COVID vaccine will cause any problem with pregnant women, at the moment, there's still not enough evidence, but they're not giving it to pregnant women, lactating women at present. So it would be best if they hold on till they deliver their baby and then they can consider later at a point when they need to take it. So,
I think the only contraindication will be the anaphylaxis or the allergy. So as long as that is ruled out, I think it's safe for everyone to use that.
And can a flu vaccine also protect against COVID-19? Can we take both of these vaccines together, the flu vaccine and the COVID-19 vaccine?
Very interesting. The flu vaccine does not protect against COVID. And you need to take the COVID vaccine to protect yourself from COVID. The current recommendation is we have to take it, if you're taking both the vaccines, we have to take it about 2 weeks apart, 14 days apart. Actually, last year there was a discussion about a cocktail to put flu and COVID vaccine together. But the current recommendation is take it 2 weeks apart.
So if I have completed my vaccination, do I still have to wear a mask?
oh yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Oh yes, you will still need to wear a mask. Remember, you may get the infection. So you may get the infection, but you will not show the symptoms. But you may still be transmitting that infection to others. So what we suggest is you carry on wearing the masks, you carry on with social distancing, practice hand hygiene all the time, avoid poorly ventilated spaces, wash your hands often, and this will prevent you from the virus even though you don't, from spreading the virus even though you don't get ill with it, sorry.
In a recent newspaper article in The Star, approximately 250,000 people have been given the jab since the national COVID-19 immunization program started in February 24th to March 11th. Dr. Bina, from a public health perspective, is it okay if the whole population is not vaccinated?
Yes, it will be impossible to vaccinate the whole population. First of all, there are a group who are not yet eligible for immunization right now, who are those under 18. We are holding on with them. But not the whole population needs to be immunized, only just enough so that the herd immunity is there. So this is the critical amount, and as long as you have the herd immunity, it is enough to stop the virus from spreading, because a person who then gets infected will not find another susceptible individual to pass the virus to. Right now, about 1.7% of the population has been immunized. That still leaves with about 98% who have not been immunized. And to get that herd immunity, we probably need between 70 to 80% of the population. We have a long way to go.
Prof. Rajesh, another question that is often asked is, how long is the immunity after a person has been vaccinated?
Okay, as of now, we actually do not know how long the immunity lasts, but the protection starts 2 weeks after the second dose or the final dose. And in case the immunity weakens, like all other vaccines, we can have a booster dose to improve the efficacy of the vaccine.
There is also a misperception that if you already have COVID-19, you do not need a vaccine. Dr. Bina, is this true?
You see, there is a risk of reinfection. And on top of it, the side effects of COVID is so severe. So taking this into account, you are recommended that even though you have had COVID, you do take your vaccination. So you may not be on top of the list, but you will need this vaccination to keep you protected. Because at this point in time, they do not know how long someone is protected from COVID-19 after the infection. So you really need your 2 doses so that the body can have the right level of the immunity response.
Researchers have found that the SARS coronavirus 2 virus is mutating over time. Prof. Ravi, you recently wrote an article in The Star on the 10th of January entitled "Fear Not the COVID-19 Mutation." Should we be concerned about these mutations affecting our vaccine efficacy?
That's a good question, Dr. Lee. I think most of the people are asking about it. Our immune system is beautiful, and our body recognizes any foreign antigen as a segment of 8 to 15 amino acids. Most of the vaccines currently developed are targeted towards spike antigen. There's an antigen which is on the surface of the virus that is made up of 1,273 amino acids. That's why they named the Mrna as 1273. So that is the number of amino acids we have. Now we can guess the possibility of 8 to 15 amino acids. More than few dozens of epitopes are there. So those epitopes, let's say we have 100 targets. Okay, 1 or 2 is slight changes. Our immune system still can shoot the 98 different targets. So the mutation, to me, it's actually it's been hyped, and the mutation our immunity is more smarter than the mutation, should be able to attack the virus. For example, polio, measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis, all the vaccines, they don't change. The virus do mutate. So you don't have to worry, fear not about the mutation. And our immune system is much smarter than that. It should be able to handle the mutant virus and clear the virus. Even if there is a major mutation which is causing increasing infectivity, our RNA-based vaccine can be changed. The sequence in the RNA vaccine can be changed very rapidly within 4 weeks, and the newer vaccine can be released.
I read somewhere that people are fearing to go for the vaccination because they fear that they will get autism. Dr. Bina, how true is this?
Vaccines do not cause autism. This is coming out from a study that has been found to be flawed. And on top of it, we have had many other studies that prove that this is really not true. Multiple studies have shown that there is no cause to worry that you're going to get autism from any of the vaccines.
Another news on social media is that the COVID-19 vaccines contain tiny microchips that are used to microchip people. What is your take on this, Prof. Rajesh?
This is entirely false. I think this is one of the infodemics, the myths which have been raised in social media. Totally false. No, it doesn't happen.
Prof. Ravi, you recently wrote an article that compares the side effects of vaccination to the post-COVID symptoms. Can you please elaborate on this?
Yeah, this actually is about the risk versus benefit of the vaccinating or not vaccinating. Okay, in the world now, we have several million, hundreds of millions of people got COVID infection. And you know that most of them are going through a lifelong suffering called post-COVID symptoms or long COVID. It's called the long COVID. The terminologies keep changing it. And they have symptoms like fatigue, and they have symptoms like breathlessness, they have symptoms like mental fog. So all these are happening when the person gets a COVID disease. But when you compare those effects, if you suffer from COVID, you take a vaccination like Dr. Mrna mentioned, it's less just a prick or small swelling or some minor side effects. Comparing the minor side effect, going to the post-COVID symptoms, I think better to get vaccinated.
Finally, what is your advice to the public regarding the COVID-19 vaccine?
I would strongly recommend each and everyone to reach the target of 80% vaccinating the population. Not only you take the vaccine, you should recommend your relatives, your friends, and your students to encourage them to take the vaccine. Do not spread the anti-vaxxers WhatsApp messages on social media. And you are not only protecting yourself, you are protecting the country, you are protecting the economy. Imagine so many people lost jobs because of this COVID pandemic. A small effort by you taking the vaccine long way help the country and people and yourself and your family.
Prof. Mrna, do you have any last advice?
Yes, we need to beat this COVID. It has taken a lot from everybody. It has taken so many lives. And now we have a magic bullet, which is the vaccine. And to counter that, there is also a lot of anti-vaxxers message which is going across. So my advice to the public is, please read about it. Just verify everything that goes on in the media and to decide for yourself whether it's good or bad. And look at all the people who have received the vaccines and are doing so fine. So please take the vaccines.
Prof. Rajesh.
Agree with both of them. Take the vaccine, continue what we have been doing so far, masking, hand sanitization, physical distancing, and only refer to well-resourced or well-referenced sources. Let infodemics not beat us to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Rajesh, Dr. Mrna, and Prof. Ravi. We hope that today's sharing session has cleared your doubts and also apprehension regarding the COVID-19 vaccine and also the vaccination program. If you find this session helpful, please share it with your network. Till then, stay healthy and stay safe. Bye.